Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking for Ezeetrader. Looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, yesterday we continued this move and triggered the bearish pivot swing. From here, we sort of just hanging in there to the sort of lower band. It just sort of looks like it's trying to hold us on this daily time frame. Still got the 21 to target. If we do start breaking down from where we are at the moment, it looks a edge towards the bearish side. So 21, daily 21, maybe the 34.50 could be hit later if it does start breaking in that direction. It's slightly weakened at the moment, the euro. We've still got the discussions now about the Greek debt again, although it's lighter than it's been before. So it's not expected to be a major mover for the euro, but it's say it's erring towards the weak side, and is expecting that later this week we'll see more easing announced by Draghi. So, as we're waiting for the banks to speak, we should look at, we probably expect some consolidation, and we're seeing some of that. We sort of had a decent move off yesterday. At the moment, to me, it's looking like it could continue in that trend. It's got a trend line across here. However, break of the daily pivot would push us towards the more bullish side and maybe a retest that 50 MA. Although, as I say, at the moment it looks relatively weak. We certainly broke out of that wedge pattern that we were looking at yesterday. Did most of the size of the wedge. Generally, I'll measure a wedge and sort of measure the distance, and it broke most of that wedge, but there could still, as I say, still be some downside anyway. The trend is erring in that direction. Okay, so that's the euro. And news-wise today, I was just having a quick look. There's not a significant amount of euro news out there today, so but there is in terms of cable. So let's have a look at the dailies on the cable first, and it's biting at the bit to sort of shove up here and break this trend line. It's sort of consolidated. At one point yesterday, to me, it looked like it might just head straight down for the weekly pivot, but it's consolidated into a range. There's an obvious trend line to be looking at now, wedged sort of pattern that's sitting there with the large pole beforehand. It's sort of flaggish and probably more bullish than bearish, and so it continues looking like it could push up. Momentum wise, it's easing off a little bit with this consolidation, but could get a wiggle on if we start breaking these highs. But on the hourly point of view, it really does show how it struggles every time it gets into this area. There's plenty of supply sitting up in this area by the looks of things, or has been. Okay, some broker orders may show some buy orders sitting up there, but every time we get anywhere near it, the big money seems to be stepping in. I mean, it was more obvious last week, last Thursday. Every time it sort of moved up there, sold off, but we'd have expected by now some sort of break of this level. But of course, we've got Carney, we've got McCafferty speaking today. So from 10:45, we could see some volatility with cable, and it may be sufficiently good enough to get us moving to the upside. They'll be given their thoughts in terms of the previous minutes that have already been spoken about. They will be testifying on the previous minutes, but also, of course, with the time that's gone past from that, we could see some extra thoughts coming into play. And of course, this is open to general questions from the committee, so could be a volatile time. Okay, it's cable. It's dollar yen. Okay, still in that range, not really doing too much. Very tight day yesterday, very tight range bound day. Consolidation at some point. Well, you can imagine that we should get a decent move out of this, but it's what's going to trigger it. And there's nothing sitting there today that looks like it's going to trigger the significant move. It should break out of this level, but maybe if it pushes to the upside, maybe run up towards that 200. It's sort of been tapping or air kissing that 50 moving average on the 4 hourly for some time. So if it does start, as I say, break to the upside, it's possibly the more likely picture from what we're seeing at this, especially on this hour picture. Already just caught a daily pivot, so erring towards the upside there, as I said. Okay, and finally the Aussie dollar. Okay, so still staying in its tightish range. Looking at what we're seeing here, we sort of readjust that wedge pattern, but we're still sitting in this sort of rather large wedge pattern. It sort of tried to break out yesterday, didn't have the oomph to break to the downside. The whole week, the whole movement here, the longer it stays here, more likely it is just to roll over. But at 1 o'clock, the minutes that were reduced, sent out, didn't suggest any significant further easing, which was a bit of a surprise to the markets in a sense, and it saw this sort of little rally going on, but it soon pulled back to the trend. The trend at the time was sort of up, and we're just continuing in that sort of mode. So it looks like we could push up towards the trend line and maybe push on beyond. It's been, well, it seems obviously a lot of the time it gets its bigger movements where news events are coming out and can drift quite for some time. It tends to give things back in the afternoon quite often. We'll see how this rolls out. So, but it could still push up further this morning at the moment, it looks like anyway. Okay, that's just about it for me. I was going to say in terms of key news, well, we've got a couple of speakers, actually US speakers. Later on, we've got Dudley and Powell speaking of the FOMC, due to speak at the Evolving Structure of US Treasury Market Conference in New York. Well, there you go. That's going to be a gripping one at 2 and 2:15. They're both involved in that, so you never know, may get a bit of volatility out around about 2 o'clock from that. But as I said, the sort of key speakers this morning really are the MPC speakers, Bank of England Governor speaking at 11 o'clock as well. Few housing reports coming out 1:30, but not a lot else there that will really kick the markets expected anyway. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.